married. This is my wife. I have to go to Israel. I need to be here. You can't send me home. And thank God they said, well, you have to go into quarantine, and he did the whole thing and he got there. So yeah, these matches can work on one hand. On the other hand, if you're somebody who struggles tremendously with languages and somebody speaks in a foreign language and you're like, what, huh? What'd you say? I can't, like, what's that word? Say it again. And you do that like 20 times because it just doesn't resonate with you and you can't hear. That would probably be very difficult for you to maintain a relationship like that. But you don't have to speak the language. I've seen many people find relationships and get married to people that don't necessarily have the same first language. And I have another couple right now. He's Israeli and she's American. And she's like, Aleeza, I don't even know if we can have an in-depth conversation. Like, I don't know if he understands what I'm trying to explain because I don't have the words to do it. And Google Translate like only takes us so far. And thank God they actually worked it out and they're engaged now. So it can work for the right people. But if you're like, but Aleeza, I don't think that's for me, then it's not for you. Don't go for something that doesn't make sense to you.
Completely agreed. And that's such a great story to hear. Mostly I have introduced people like American clients to Israeli women or men who have pretty high level of English. So it's usually like not an issue. So I'm not sure if the Israeli women you're meeting are just, they just don't have as high a level of English. So you might need to use those Google Translate apps. But I got an American client married to a Brazilian woman. She had pretty good English. Yes. I mean, she really understands everything and she can say everything. Maybe it just takes her an extra minute or just with an accent a bit. But you might be someone who, some people have trouble understanding accents. I really feel like I understand them all pretty well because of living in Israel and hearing all the different accents. So if you're just someone who, sometimes someone in California can't understand a deep Southern accent, like you're just one of those people who your ears don't register it. They don't get it. And some Israelis have trouble understanding British and Australian accents. So if it's really a struggle, and you're just super frustrated, I say it's not for you. But if you can be patient and use Google Translate if you have to, because we have all this technology today. If this was years ago, I would say it would be much harder. So yes, I have made international matches and I've introduced many American clients to Israelis that the language was not an issue. It was other things that they didn't find to be a match, but not the language. So really believe it can work, Dove. And I assume you're an American living in Israel now, maybe, and you're meeting people with not the best English. If you want to expand on your question at all, hope we answered it. Okay. Sounds good to you, Aleeza? Should we move to the next one?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think now since no one else, first I'll just do a shout out of where everyone's from. LA, I'm here too. LA, San Pedro, Michelle's from New York, Sarah's in Tel Aviv, yay. Mike is in Tel Aviv, but from Pittsburgh. Yael's in LA.
Oh, I went to the University of Pittsburgh.
Ah, yeah, great. And what city are you in Pennsylvania right now?
Just outside of Philadelphia, Lower Merion, Bala-Cynwyd area.
Cool. It's so awesome. I'm in LA. She's in Philly. You guys are in Israel. It's amazing. Toronto. Tova's from Toronto. So a lot of LA and Tel Aviv. Okay. Probably a lot of you came from my list because those are my two biggest places. And, but Aleeza and I both have people from everywhere. I'm sure. Most of your list is East Coast, Aleeza? Like most of your people, or it's really worldwide
I have a lot
too?
a lot of New York, and then randomly all over from the States. And then also I have people Israel and globally, Australia, England, all over Europe.
So we're the same. We're
Similar.
Both international. We both have the most in the areas we live, but we have all over. Okay, so I'll go to the questions that were submitted before, in the registration link. So people submitted these ahead of time. What do you recommend on how to navigate a new long distance relationship during this time of coronavirus? Very good one.
Okay, so I guess a new one, meaning maybe it started before Corona or even just in the beginning of Corona.
Yeah,
we don't
know
if they've seen each other, right?
Yeah, they didn't give context if they had gone on a couple of dates. We can do both scenarios. If you'd gone on a couple of dates and now you're confined because of Corona, or you just met someone long distance in video chat dating. Okay. You can do both scenarios. Okay. It'll be fun.
Okay. If you met somebody before Corona and you actually met them live, the advantage that you have is that you've seen them face to face and you know that maybe this is something that has potential to work, and you can confirm that by having seen each other. If you haven't met live yet, that's going to still be a question in your mind for a really long time. You know, like until you actually meet in person, you're going to be like, wow, this could be nice over video and this could be nice over the phone. But like, really, when I see you face to face, are you going to be the person that I think that you are? And the other type of person is going to have a few more questions in their mind. What both couples are going to have in common is that you need to find ways of making dating online interesting. You need to make sure that you have a balance between phone calls and video calls, and that there's some space and time in between. Some people kind of they're like, well, I have nothing better to do, so I'll talk to you tonight, and I'll talk to you tonight, and I'll talk to you tonight. And every night you're talking to them, and then you're like, I'm kind of bored. Like, I don't want to talk to you. I'm only talking because I'm bored, not because I actually want to. So I want to make sure that people get their fill of human interaction from people other than the person that they're dating, so that when they are dating that person, they're interested in dating them. They're not interested in having a conversation because they have nothing else on their schedule. So that's the beginning stages. And then there's tons of things online that I've done some research about, like virtual museums, playing music together, you know, art or painting, doing things. Or we used to do a game when I was a kid where one of us would have like a drawing, and we would like hide what we drew, and then we would say, okay, I want you to put a circle in the top right corner of the page. Now, I didn't tell you how large to make it. So that should be large, medium, right? So you have to give very specific, detailed information, like work them through the whole thing that you drew and sketched out, and then see how your drawings match. Like, oh, here, this is what I drew. This is what you drew. They look nothing alike. You know, was I a good direction giver? Were you a good direction receiver? Were we able to communicate clearly? And that's actually an excellent tool for communication.
I love it. I love it. And I put a link to going on a virtual museum date together in quarantine.
Yeah, perfect.
And I completely agree. Oh, so we did get some more clarity that the person said that she had met him before and he came to LA for a week. So I guess, so they had been in person, and
okay,
now
so
they moved it to virtual. Yeah.
Right. So sorry, before you cut in, let me just say one more thing is, I've heard of people either like this enhances it because this is such an emotionally high time where emotions are just flying. And so it can enhance the relationship and build it. And for other people, it's so emotionally high, overwhelming, stimulating that they can't handle a new relationship. And so in that case, the option would be to click the pause button and be like, you know what? I like you. You like me. There's definitely potential, but now I don't think I can handle this new relationship. Can we please revisit it? But you're going to have to revisit it in, I don't know, a month, 2 months, 3 months. It's an extended period of time, and they may or may not be dating, which is really, it's totally up to them. So if you're interested and they're interested and you have the koach and the strength to keep dating, then you should try to make it fun online in a similar way that you would have done in person.
Yeah, completely. And the person that wrote that, I'll keep everything anonymous. If you want to message me privately for any more clarification, feel free. Someone wrote me that the sound was cutting in and out, but I hear everything fine. Is anyone else here having sound problems? Can anybody else write yes or no, just if they're having sound problems? Oh, Steve came on. Did he want to tell us something about sound problems? Oh, he's not the one that asked that. It was Del Ram said that. Only once it cut out for a couple seconds. Okay.
Okay.
No, everyone else is saying no, so I don't think it's us. I'm sorry about that. It could be your internet connection. I just muted Steve because maybe he didn't know to be on mute. Welcome, Steve. Okay, most people are saying no sound problems. Okay, great.
Thank you.
Let us know if anything else goes technically wrong. I love that we can keep in touch with this chat box.
Great.
Okay, so my answer to the question is similar to Aleeza's. Yeah, you have to, how do you keep the long distance relationship going? So a lot of my clients were dating long distance anyway, because sometimes they reach out to me when they want a long distance relationship, like they're in America and they're looking for someone in Israel because they like Israelis, or they're looking for a Latin American, someone to relocate to the US. So these clients are being more patient because they already know that it was going to be a while until they met each other. So they're like, it's actually the same. And, I just can't fly there anytime soon. It might be a couple months, but it might've been a couple months anyway, if it was real life. So they're having easier adjustment with it. And so they already know, they already kind of have a leg up because they've already been doing virtual dating and know what to do. So now the rest of us just kind of have to catch up to it because we're all long distance, even if we live down the street from someone. So like these virtual tours of museums, like Aleeza doesn't like this, but maybe the Netflix movie, like 5 dates in, if you just want to, if you want, because I heard you watch it together and you can chat about it on the side, like live, but this is definitely not for creating the emotional connection. This is just if you want someone to watch a movie with.
For passing the time. Right.
Yeah.
It's funny. That's come up, I think, like 3 or 4 times on webinars, and every time it's like, oh, you don't like that. I was like, look, I wouldn't tell you to go to the movie theater together either. What are you going to do? You're going to sit and watch a movie. But like, what's the time that I care about? I care about the time when you're at dinner together, or you're taking a walk together, or right. So like, if you want to take a virtual walk and you're in a city where you're allowed to be outside, take a virtual walk. If you want to have dinner together, I heard 2 really cute ideas. One is, you know, I make dinner and you make dinner at the same time, and we show each other what we're making. We make like the same meal if we have the same ingredients. The other one was that somebody said that a guy sent dinner over to the girl, and then they got on the screen together, and then they had dinner together. And that was really, like, to me, I was like, oh, you know, like, such a sweet idea.
Completely agreed. Then you should, by like your second or third date, you can order the woman's favorite meal to her home, you know, ask her what it is.
You could send her a bottle of wine. I mean, there's so many creative ways to be thoughtful and show somebody that you're caring about them. And because you can't be physically in person, but you could send a little something. Like, I think that gifts do, for some people, you know, the 5 love languages, gifts do help people to develop close relationships. Actually, I might have the book.
The 5 love languages there.
It's so
everyone
everyone
should read it. Yeah, everyone should read it.
I'll pull it down if you haven't read it. It's a great
and
book
I'll put a link. There's a quiz to the 5 love languages, so you can take it and know your love language type. It's free and easy. Everyone should do that so they know. If anyone wants us to go through the 5 love languages.
Gary Chapman, the 5 love languages. So some people are really into gifts. Gifts is not my love language. It's not like the thing that I'm like, oh, I'm so excited about it. I'm happy. I like gifts. I appreciate them, but not in the way that people that are gift people. Like, people that are gift people, they get something. They're the people that are like this. Oh my gosh, I love it. Or that, oh, exactly what I wanted. Like, nailed it. You like really hit the spot. So there's those people that get excited about those things. So it's really a great way to build a relationship up. And all of the tools that are in the 5 love languages are actually fantastic ways to think about building a relationship, whether it's virtual or in person.
Great. Someone actually asked if we could list the 5 love languages. So yeah, we can do that real quick. Do you want to say them, Aleeza?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah, here we go. So love language 1 is words of affirmation. Number 2, and we can go through each one of them. 2 is quality time. 3 is receiving gifts. 4 is acts of service, and 5 is physical touch. Okay, so words of affirmation is verbally, not praise, like, oh, you're so amazing, awesome, but like genuine, sincere. It can be compliments, it can be things that you notice, but it's the words that come out of your mouth that really touch somebody's heart and make them feel connected to you. Quality time is like, even if you don't speak to me, but we're like sitting there together, or we're talking together, or you're spending an amount of time with me and it's good time. That's why I think movies aren't great. But for some people who like movies, you're going to be like, yeah, but Aleeza, that's quality time. You know, we spent that time together. So for some people that would work for them. Receiving gifts is what we spoke about. Acts of service is doing something for somebody. So I'm trying to think of specific examples. Do you have any specific examples?
Yeah, like if you don't like to do the dishes, or you're just exhausted, and your partner sees that the dishes piled up, like they just do them for you. I love that. Or they know you need an errand done. You're like, oh, I still have to get to the store and get this thing. And then all of a sudden your partner's like, oh, I went to the store and got that thing for you. Here it is. So it's doing that.
It's an act of service. And then the last one is physical touch. And we all know what that one is. And I have my own view on physical touch in terms of dating and relationships, which in my book, which is called Get Real, Get Married. It is on Amazon. There's a chapter and it's called Hands Off for Clarity, which, by the way, thank you, Corona, because now you can test this out. And I always tell people, listen, if you're dating and you're not sure, I like you, I don't like you, do I like you enough? Like, do I like you? Do I really want to spend time with you and be with you? The way to tell is by not touching, by not being physically connected to somebody. If you don't like them, you're not going to want to talk to them. So I don't even care about the physical touch. It doesn't, it confuses people. For some people, they like that more than they like the person, and then they stick with the relationship. And 2 years later, they want to know, I don't like them, but I still, don't know how to get out of this. So, keeping your hands off for clarity is a great thing to do. And now's the time for everybody to try being Shomer Negia and try to build an emotional connection. The emotional connection is what keeps the relationship together forever. That's the bond that if you build that and you have a strong, solid foundation, you'll have plenty of time to work on the physical relationship. Don't worry about it. But if you have a strong, solid emotional connection, you're going to be fine. I'm not going to be worried about you being one of my clients because you're getting divorced or because, something, crazy happened. You're going to be able to hold your relationship together with your partner.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. It's like an amazing time to try Shomer Negia. So, so because I'm like Reform secular, so like I'm not Shomer Negia usually, but I understand it. I really understand the value in it. And yeah, now everybody you'll have to connect mentally and emotionally. And if visually you like what you're seeing, it's going to work. Like by the time you get there, like I believe like you'll figure it out.
And if it's not working the way you need it to work later on, you'll figure it out. There's plenty of time to practice. Don't worry, like everybody, you can get better over time. Things, develop and connect and can be enhanced.
Yep, agreed. Okay, so someone asked a question, but how can we really get to know someone like this? Like for me, I got to physically be in front of someone to get the idea, I have to physically be in front of someone to get the idea if they are right for me. And small gestures or tests that happen during the date, I can tell what type of person he is. Yes, okay. I have an opinion on this too. You want me to start this time, Aleeza?
Go for it,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yes, I understand the small gestures and the tests you're calling them. I hope you're not really testing them like too hard. But so you can tell a lot about a person, like the way that he talks about his family. Right now, you can't see the way he acts around his family or friends. You can only see him, but you can ask him deeper questions, which I have a list of questions that are good for getting to know someone on the first dates, and the 36 questions to fall in love. I'll put a link to that. You can ask deeper questions to get to know like their emotional core and how they value their family or their friends. And then you can even ask like, tell me about your best friend. What is a fond memory from your childhood with your best friend? What's the nicest thing you ever did for someone you were dating, or for a friend, or for your mother? And then you kind of get a sense of their values and personality by asking the right kinds of questions. And then also the gestures, if they end up sending you dinner to your house or a bottle of wine, like obviously that's a nice gesture. You can't really tell a guy to do that for you. He kind of has to get it. You can give a hint though, right, Aleeza? Like you could say like, I saw the cute story. I'll put the link here of the guy that sent the woman across an apartment building in New York across the way on a drone. He sent her a note saying like, I like you. Can I have your number? She sent it back. Or he sent his number and he said, text this number if you want to talk. Then they started talking. So there's like, you can give the guy that article and say, isn't this article cute? And then you plant the seed in his head that he could, he could send you a bottle of wine if that guy flew a drone over and then had, they cooked the same meal and they ate it together on FaceTime from their rooftops. So just share articles with them and say, isn't this interesting? And then that might like plant the seed of getting him to take like more initiative. Because don't be too hard on the guys right now, ladies, because this is an unprecedented time where they don't know how to be romantic in quarantine. So if you keep Googling like romantic quarantine stories or love quarantine stories as your keywords, more things are going to come out every day and you can share them with the person. That's my advice. And Aleeza?
I think you hit I am so on board with you. You nailed it.
Awesome. Okay, great. So Fernaz, let us know if you need any more clarity to that. I hope you can get to know them enough from asking the right kinds of questions at this time, because you're not physically in front of them. And one other idea is share your camera roll. So go into your camera roll of pick a random year. In iPhone, you can do this. You can write like 2008, May 2018, and then the photos from then come up and say, okay, here's what randomly came up. So at this photo, I was on vacation in Greece. And here's how I was feeling. Here's what I ate. Here's who I was with. This photo was me holding my friend's baby.
I like, you could even like play a game like that where you like take all of the months and like throw them in a little cup, and then take the last 2, 3, 5 years and throw them in a cup and like pull out a month and pull out a year and go to that camera roll at that point in time for both of you and pick out. I don't like when you have to go to like the 8th picture in your camera roll because I might not want to show you the 8th picture in my camera roll. But if I have a whole month to choose from, what story am I going to choose from? And it's like opening your photo album. I really like that idea.
It's
Fantastic.
opening your photo album digitally. And even in Zoom, you guys, you can do screen share. So like if the photo's on your computer, then you could like share your screen and they can look at it big instead of holding up the phone, you know? So, and if you have a website, you can share your website with, like maybe you have a lot of things on a website. So you just share the link to your website. Also, you can actually just like let's say you love 9gag. That's like a big website that a lot of people like with funny memes and stuff. You guys can like screen share and look at it together and look at funny stuff together. So you know that there's an infinite rabbit hole of things to look at online. So now you could like do it with someone instead of just wasting your time and doing it alone. You guys could like even read the same article about coronavirus if you want, you know, at the same time. Let's say, let's just take 5 minutes to read this article. Then let's talk about what we think is fact and fiction and, you know, anything.
And then by the way, then don't talk about Corona for like the next 6
then
days.
don't. Yeah. Really, you shouldn't really be talking about coronavirus. Like you might start your date with that because it's like the main news, like, you know, of the day, but like quickly get off of it.
Unless you're a doctor in the medical field that it makes like that you're into it, or unless you're a researcher where it's to you, it's fascinating and it does not make you anxious and uncomfortable. But if it's just, you know, regular stuff, we should have other conversations because you're not on your normal dates going to be talking about that all the time anyway. It's just temporary information.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so wonderful. We'll go on to the next question and I'll find the links I was talking about while Aleeza answers it first. Okay, for someone who's not ever dated someone on the more calm and introverted side, being that I'm an extrovert and like going out, what recommendations can you make or light can you shed on the positive light of this type of relationship that feels so foreign and not passion driven like with another extrovert? So I think she's talking about she's dating someone introverted and she's extroverted, and just let me know if I need more clarity there for the person who asked it. But yeah, I think that's what she's saying, right? She's dating someone who's never really dated and they're more calm and introverted and she's an extrovert.
Okay, so you will not get from them what you normally get from extroverts. And if you're looking for that, you're going to continuously be let down, which is obviously what you're currently, not that you're currently experiencing let down, but you're currently experiencing the understanding of, oh my gosh, you're not like me. Where's your pop? Where's your sizzle? Where's your energy? Where's your fun? So what you have to do is to look for, what does an introvert bring to the table? What value does this person have? And what things can I connect to that I appreciate and I like about them, even though it seems to be so different from me? And in what way can this be very good for me potentially? So just for example, not sometimes, you will find that introverts can be, you know, even though they need their alone time, when they're with you, they're present because they're not focused on everything else in the world because they're not extroverts. They're there. They're going to be a little bit more present and focused. They often can be just very consistent, stable, committed people, loyal. There's not a need for them to like run out and be in the world or travel the world or do things with people in the world. They're okay being in their world, doing their thing, and they're actually quite content. Like that, doing their thing makes them happy. So usually for people like this, quarantine is like, oh, thank God, no obligation to go out. Like I don't have to force myself to go to another event. I can't. And if I don't feel like talking to anybody for 2 days, I don't have to, right? Like close my door, lock my door, and nobody's going to bother me. So, so if you can look at those things and find things that you really value, that that you appreciate about them, even though it's different, it's nice. One of the other nice things that I found is that you can be as sparkly and amazing as you want, and you're not in competition with somebody else. Sometimes you have like really pop personalities and you feel like they're both competing for the limelight all the time and that they're not balanced. And so sometimes it's really nice to have this extrovert with this introvert where you can be as much of this as you want and they'll do their thing and there's a nice synergy between you, but it's not the same. You'll never get that pop sizzle, but you will get that deep stability and something very different that's not exciting in a short-term way, like a fireworks that's like woo, but it's more like long-term stability. Like you get that paycheck every month, every week, and you're just like, it's good to have the money to be right. It's just consistent. It just feels right. So see if those things resonate with you, and see if there's something to build. If you need the pop and sizzle and you're never going to be really satisfied with who they are, then it's not going to be great for you. One other benefit, you like to be in the world and do your thing. They sometimes like their alone time. So you can have your together time, but when you go to do your things with your friends in the world, it's not going to irritate them. You know why? Because you disappear and they get to be alone, which is exactly what they love. Besides being with you, they also enjoy doing their own thing, and they don't want to be dragged out to something. So if you want to go have your night out with your friends, it's like, bye, have a good time, like, see you later. But it doesn't bother them or upset them, like, why aren't you including me? They're like, no, please don't obligate me, right? It's a very different thing. So if you could look at the flip side and the benefits, you might say, wow, I totally buy into that. I like that. If you look at the benefits and you're like, but I still don't like that, Aleeza, then an introvert is not for you. Don't push yourself.
Completely agreed with everything you said. And the only thing I want to add about, like, it's really a great time to be an introvert, because like you said, you don't have to push yourself to go out, and you can do all your events online. And actually, yeah, like there's so much connection happening with online events. Just look on Facebook or Eventbrite or Google, like online events right now. There's an organization called the IAC doing a lot of young professionals meetups where they have like big speakers. Like the Israeli sharks from Shark Tank are doing a panel, for example. They're having a lot of big executives do webinars like this, just to talk about how they got started in business and how they have work-life balance. So you can make friends from different webinars. And I know there's like virtual happy hours, I think, going on with like one of the Philadelphia JCCs or something, one of the nonprofits. Like they're doing happy hours together in breakout rooms where the participants see each other and they like interact and have fun. So you can make new friends during this time. And everyone's really present and I think being more emotionally available and vulnerable right now than they've ever been. So it's really an interesting time. I wonder if like Hashem said this to us, like now at the Passover time, like the plague, and like now we have to come out stronger. I've been thinking about that.
Absolutely.
So think about what you can gain online from emotional connections with people, even new friendships. And you can even, a little tip, if you're job searching, maybe someone on LinkedIn that you always want to connect with would do the virtual coffee with you now because they're stuck at home. So there's a chance you can get to more people in this time, whether it's jobs and also online dating. If it's someone who maybe they would have been so busy because they get bombarded in daily life with messages, but they're home now, so you can kind of get to them easier on the dating app than the hubbub of everyday life. People are not checking the dating app as often as I think they're checking it now. Okay. Which question were we on next? I think this one. What do you think about age gap relationships, in particular older women dating younger men? Ooh, that's an interesting one.
I've had a bunch of clients with age gaps, 2 years older, 3 years older, 4, 5, 9 years older, any more than 9, approximately that ish range, anywhere from like a year to 9 years difference with the women being older. Couples are happy. For the men, are they comfortable with it? Are they not comfortable with it? Some are, some aren't. Some get married and they're still not comfortable, and birthdays every year are like, oh, I got to do that again. And other people, it's like, whatever, it just doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with you as a human being. It's just one of those societal things that got stuck in the world, and that's what became a cultural norm. And so it's not the cultural norm, but it doesn't matter. There's many happy, healthy relationships that exist with age gaps. The couples that I know of are, everybody's doing great. So as long as you can make it work out, it's really not an issue. What's the biggest issue? Fertility, okay, depends if you're in the life age or stage where that makes a difference to you. But with modern day technology and fertility, it's like, you don't know who's going to have trouble, who's not going to have trouble, and there's medical technology to help everybody.
Completely agreed. And yeah, I believe in age differences. I kind of do believe age is just a number, and it just depends on you. If you don't like the idea of a 10-year age gap, like if it's gross to you, then you can't do it. If you can look at someone and like just feel connected to them and like not even think about an age, just think about if there's a connection, then fine. So I've matched people with age gaps. I haven't matched an older woman and a younger man. But I know it exists in life. I know
Yeah, I did. One of
of a
my
marriage.
matches was
Oh,
like
did you?
that.
How many years
Yeah,
difference was it?
I think it was 4. Oh,
Hmm.
4, and two, at least 2. The other one was 7. Yeah.
Wow, 7 is pretty big. And this was their first marriage and first children, or it was a second marriage. They already had kids.
Uh, it was no kids. First marriage. First marriage.
Okay, yeah, because what I find as a matchmaker, so some harsh reality is that the men usually do want to date younger women, like they ask for it, or up until like 2 years younger than them. Sometimes they don't even want to go to their own age, but um,
I work with people and we expand your brain and
mm,
thinking because you're looking for somebody you connect with. And finding that is like, it's the most, to me, it's the most difficult thing in the world to find that person that you actually really connect with. And if you find it and they happen to be your age or older or whatever, you can't just walk away. You absolutely can't. How long have you tried to find somebody that you actually connected with? So to walk away is like, no. They're like, yeah, it's nice, but maybe I'll find somebody else who I also connect with who's 5 years younger. Yeah, maybe. How long have you been searching? It takes so long to find somebody. When you actually find it, keep it. Don't ditch it, and just stick with it longer. And if you really, really don't want it, okay, so eventually you'll make a decision, but give yourself at least twice as long to buy into it, because it you can't turn down something that has such potential. You can't.
I a
It's so
thousand
rare to
percent
find
agree.
potential.
1,000% agree. Like, yeah, everyone sometimes has that mentality of, oh, you're great, but I might find a little bit better. Like, you had everything, but I could probably find you, but like the 5 years younger that I wanted. No, like, you have that connection. Why are you throwing that away for a chance at roulette? Like, you don't know what it's going to land on next.
Right. Right.
So I agree with that, and that's why, like, it really is important when people are working me as clients now for matchmaking, that they work with a coach like Aleeza at the same time, because she will get these preconceived notions and rules that you set for yourself in your brain. She will kind of blow them away, like break down the walls. So
And not that you're not going to be who you are, and not that you're not going to want
mm,
what you want. We work with what people want. I believe in what people want.
mm,
And if you meet somebody that falls outside of that criteria, we just have to evaluate them on a very real level if there's something there, if there's some potential that's there. So it's not, I'm never looking to transform somebody to be something that they're not. My goal is to make you who you are, to bring out the best that's in people, and to bring out the possibilities that exist. That's the real goal.
cool. I love how you said that. Okay, so I went on tangent like questions just because it sparked other ideas, but I'll go back to
Yeah.
everyone's question. Just notice I posted the link to Aleeza's book, Get Real, Get Married. That's a really good Amazon buy right now when you're stuck at home. And the Bored Panda article about the guy that flew the drone to the girl in New York City on a New York City rooftop. Okay, so for those exhausted from dating apps, how else can someone meet someone during this time of quarantine? Okay, very interesting. You want
Okay.
to start or me?
Whatever you want. You can go. You have an idea?
Okay.
You have thoughts?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So the word exhausted from dating apps, I know how time consuming they are and exhausting. I've been on all of them myself. Um, so you just, you have to push through, and you can't have a negative mentality about them. You have to think of them with an abundance mentality, in my opinion, not a negative mentality that they're exhausting me. It's driving me crazy. Delete that from your vocabulary. They are a resource of meeting people. And, if you really read people's profiles, I know that not everyone has worked with a coach and had their profile rewritten like my clients do. So they have, and Aleeza's, so they have amazing profiles. Make sure yours is written the best it can be. You can reach out to us for profile rewrite if you think you need one. Make sure you have the best photos that you can have, and you're going to attract then a guy that also invested, because this came from a woman. You're going to attract a man that also invested the same amount of time into his dating profile, and that's the kind of person that you want, because like attracts like. So you don't have to use dating apps. You can also do what I said, like those organizations that are doing like virtual meetups, and their kind of happy hours are where everyone's camera is on and talking with each other. So like virtual hangouts, they're calling them. Um, I probably, if you went on meetup.com, they're probably doing virtual meetups of people that like specific activities at this time. I haven't checked Meetup lately. Did you check it lately, Aleeza, to see if they
No,
have
I didn't
online?
check it
They
recently.
They probably do. And I'm going to send the Young Professionals Organization links here that are doing like these kind of, talks with professionals. So if you see someone in a Zoom that from something you were listening to that you liked, you could like send them a private message, and you can look on Facebook in Facebook singles groups and message people. There's a ton of Jewish singles Facebook groups.
Right.
And the other way is to work with me and Aleeza and have a matchmaker and a coach on your side.
Okay, so wait, so this is what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
So the person said that they're exhausted from dating apps. So
Yeah.
I've had clients and they're like, Aleeza, I hate dating apps. I don't want to be on them. I don't like them. I don't want to come to like them. Nice that you could have your positive view, la, 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 but they drive me crazy. It's like, this to my brain. That's what it feels like. And I'm so not interested in being on them. If that's you, yeah, you should definitely work with Jessica to be on the app, to be you searching for you. That's why people have matchmakers who are basically like your headhunter. They are going out there, they know who you are, they know what you want, and they're searching to find the entire world for it, and they're not going to stop till they find it. Like, they're just going to put all of their efforts in to the resources that are there. So if you want to have somebody else manage it for you, you can do that if it exhausts you. The other option, if it exhausts you, is goodbye, delete dating app, take it off your phone, lihitraot, adios, see you later. No dating apps, make it disappear. So I don't care if you don't like dating apps, then I don't want you to be on them. If they're going to exhaust you, take a break until you feel like you can or you want to get on. Jess.
Oh, am I not there?
No. Yeah, pop somebody on mute. Take a look.
Oh, okay. I put them on mute. Hi, Rachel.
Good job.
Okay,
great. So if you really don't like dating apps, don't make yourself crazy. Make them disappear. Do something else. You could do a dating detox. You can do you can talk to friends and just share, while you're around and you got time on your hands. If you're schmoozing with any of your friends or friends of friends, or you're reconnecting with old friends, just make sure to have me in mind. Here's what I'm looking for. Send them a little blurb about, what you're looking for, even though they know you, even though you think that they know what you want, they know what they want for you. They don't know what you want for you. And even if they know what you want for you, they might not think it's best for you. So put it in writing, because I like to be sure that you get what you want and not that somebody else throws you what they think is going to be good for you. So I work with people to, sometimes we work with their network, like, let's navigate your network. You've got a gold mine.
Oh, someone else came in and they're not on mute.
Yeah.
How do I see everyone so I can see who the culprit is?
Just go to the chat.
All right. I muted him. Okay, go on.
Okay, great. So if you use your network is a gold mine. It's really an untapped or under-tapped resource. It's like our brain. Like, what percentage of our brain do we really use? Like, it's so powerful. Your network is so powerful. But knowing how to access the right people and get the right results from it, that's what I'm really good at. And exploring that so that we can just expand your reach without going on any dating apps, without going to any events or social things. Like, if those are not your things, you don't have to do it. There's other ways to find people in your network.
Completely agreed. Love it. I hope that answered your question. I think it did. I think we're doing a great job and giving like tons of advice. So let me know, everyone.
I think what people need to know is there's lots of options. Like, if you and one of my things, I have Daters Academy, which goes through, your dating profile and what to do, and, your soulmate summary and how to describe what you're looking for. And to me, one thing that I'm very fussy about is that you do what you like and you can handle the most first. Now, in dating, sometimes people are like, nothing, I can handle nothing anymore. I'm done. I just want my soulmate. So, like, let's be realistic. Like, what can you actually handle in dating? Let's just do that. What don't you like? Bye-bye. That goes last on the list. We are not doing it right away. And we only focus on what you want to do and what you can do right away, and not on what's not your preference and what irritates you. Anything that irritates you goes to the end, and then the things that irritate you the least are what we actually start with.
Love it. Okay, we got more questions that came in.
Okay, great.
Everyone got more brave as it went on. Okay, so we answered Michelle's. Um, yes, I will post the link of the 36 questions. What are good reasons to go over the norm age gap of 10 years? Example, very successful. Is that a good one? Like, yeah, so what's a good reason to date more than 10 years older? That's a good question.
I have the perfect answer. You ready?
Great.
You like them.
Yay!
That's the answer. If you like them, you should date them, even if they're older than 10 years older than you. Like success comes and goes. It disappears. Money can be in your bank account today and can be completely gone tomorrow. No, that's not a reason. You like them. You like them. You like them. If you like them, you should date them. If they're younger, okay. If they're older, okay. Like if you like them, if there's something there, if there's a connection there that you don't normally find with people, you should date somebody. It is so hard to find that connection, that moment that yummy makes me so happy. If you find that, explore it. If it explodes your brain because the age gap is like making you crazy and they're closer to your parents' age than to your age, okay, we'll deal with your brain later. You could call me and we can work together. But if there is something there, it is so hard to find that something there. Do not walk away from it. Give yourself twice as long to see if you can handle it. If you really can't, so you'll walk. But you got to put everything in to see if you actually can make this work.
Love that answer completely. It's sometimes like we people ask these questions and the answer is so simple. If you like them, so
right,
I love that.
Right, and I don't mean to make it sound like like duh, we should all know that. No, it's not obvious. It's a simple answer, but it's not the obvious answer, which makes it very interesting.
Which is true. Okay. Yes, they were a good couple of last questions for Naz. Yeah, everyone's having great questions. I hope everyone's learning from each other. And they're like, oh, I didn't think of that question. I'm glad so-and-so asked it. Okay, so we have one. Haven't dated anyone seriously since my divorce 8 years ago. Can't seem to get my head around the dating apps. Am I making a mistake by not even trying the apps? Haven't had any success meeting anyone on my own. If apps are the way, what is the best advice you can give me to make it less painful? Really good one.
I don't know. This kind of ties into before. I'm like sitting here with my arms crossed. I'm like, I don't know. If you really don't like it, I don't like to push people and force them into something they don't like. If you want to try one app for 1 week and see how you can handle it. But if you do that and you don't, the best way to do it is with someone. So if it's going to be a friend or a relative, side by side, they're doing it. If you're working with Jessica side by side and she's helping you to manage the app, or with me, whatever the plan is, get yourself a partner. If you don't like doing it, it's kind of like exercise, just for example, right? If I want to work out and I had this situation where I wanted to work out and I wasn't working out, get yourself a partner for accountability and support, right? So if you need a trainer so that they're there and they're pushing you when you wouldn't push yourself, that's great. This is the same way. Get yourself an app trainer, an online dating coach or a matchmaker so that they can support you through the process, because it's not easy. I joke with people, I'm like, the reason I have a job is because dating's so difficult. If it was easy, you wouldn't be on this live webinar. You'd just be, with somebody and everything would be fine. And like, poof, we would have met. It's so difficult. And over the years, it's gotten complicated with all of the options, because there didn't used to be so many options. When you go to a restaurant and the menu has 3 options, you can have steak, or you can have fish, or you can have a vegetarian meal. You pick one of those 3. If you're a meaty kind of guy or gal, you're going to pick a meaty one. If you're vegetarian, that's for you. And other than that, like, you just choose. But when you have, I don't know how many apps are out there. I couldn't even put a number on it to tell you how many dating apps and websites there are available. How do you even pick? You probably have to do like 75 hours of research to even come up with which one might be the right one today. And guess what? Tomorrow, because of Corona, now life changed and that one's the most popular, and that's better because everybody, like, the world is moving so fast. It's so difficult to keep up with it. And if you don't like it, don't go at it alone. It's just too much. It's just, yeah. You know that feeling? There's no words for it. It's just blah. It's like not fun. So get a support network if you want support in the version of people that are professional doing it, great. If you don't, or it's not in your budget, no problem. Friends, anybody else who's like, oh, I get one of those friends. They're like, oh, I love doing this kind of stuff. Come here, I'll be you. Hey, how you doing? And like, they'll just start sending things. Let somebody else do it for you. Give them your log on and just get it going so that the beginning process is not as difficult for you.
Completely agreed with Aleeza. Use that friend that loves logging on and writing those messages. Most people have one like that. And if not, hire us, the professionals. If it's in your budget and you can make that investment, we'll talk about it at the end, but we're offering a package together to get you through the Corona times.
The first time ever, actually. We've never done that.
Yeah. So we're very excited to have this opportunity to do it. So yeah, that is why our jobs exist, because I will walk you through, we will screen share your dating app or your website that you're using. If you're in the States, I really recommend a paid account on Match.com, because people will take it more seriously, because it's a website that you have to log in on your computer. So they're a little bit more invested than a swipey app, although they work as well. And I'll tell you the best one for if you're in Israel, it's like OkCupid and Bumble more. So anyway, I will help you craft those messages and decide who to look at and who to swipe no, who maybe you want to give a second look to, because it is so easy to swipe no. Like at a grocery store, we have too many choices of what kind of cereal to buy, and we are overwhelmed with how many choices on the app. Right. So just like a personal trainer at the gym tells you how to lift the weights properly to build the muscles, like when you hire us, we are helping you build those dating muscles. And then Aleeza will talk to you about the person you're currently dating and like what's like deeper going on there. So she will do that.
Yeah, sorry. There's also tons of resources online if you want to, if you're like one of those like DIY, read and research and do your own thing, you can probably find everything you need between written articles, videos on YouTube, and all sorts of stuff. You just have to find the people that are reliable, trustworthy, and you know that the advice that they're giving you is really solid. And I also have, you can put a link for my articles on aish.com. Jess, I could send it to you, or if you go to aish.com, you'll see, and you put in Aleeza Ben Shalom, you'll see there's like 70 articles on dating and relationships. So there's plenty of information. If you like our style and, you know, like what I'm sharing, you can read more. You can also just Google my name and see whatever videos and things pop up. There's tons and tons of ways to do it. It can be, you know, on your own, it can be with support, but whatever you need, try to find it. Try to get what you need.
Completely. There's online, there's even probably, if you go on YouTube, there's like step-by-step guides probably about how to navigate each dating app and tips and strategies. So there's tons of free resources, and now you have the time to watch it.
Make sure they're in date, because make sure they're within the last 3 to 6 months or a year, no longer than a year, because it's out of date and the apps do updates every couple months.
Yeah, they change how they do things. And I just sent Aleeza's authors page, the link there, so you can read all of her articles on Aish. That's a wonderful resource. Okay, great. I love these questions. Okay, why is it that many men in the community want really younger girls? Is it purely because they want to make sure the woman can have children for them? Yeah, that's one of the reasons. Or other reasons are big too, since bearing children has to do with an individual and healthy body. Sometimes even younger women have trouble becoming pregnant. Completely agree. I always tell clients that I could give you a 25-year-old and maybe she can't have kids. You know, like I can't screen for that. Nobody can. So
I think, I just want to say, I think some of it is cultural, and I think some of it is preference. And really, like, it's here, it's in your brain, it's a number. And if she would have told you she was 5 years younger and she was really 5 years older, like I know people who didn't put the real age on the profile. It's kind of like the speed limit. You know, it says 25 and everybody drives 45, and it says 65 and they all drive 85. Nobody, you know, does the right thing, except with dating, we do it, we dial it down. So I know somebody, and she was, whatever she was, 39, and on the profile, she put like 35 or 36 because she knew that certain people only check up to a certain age range. And then of course, after you go out, either once or twice or a few times, then you have to share with the person that, you know, you're not a liar, you're just somebody who was trying to navigate the dating apps a little bit more successfully, and she told her real age. It ended up being, for this story, this couple, they got married. For some people, they hear these stories and they freak out. They're like, Aleeza, that is horrible. That is wrong. That means somebody is a liar. If they can do that on a profile, they can do that about anything. If you're that kind of person, don't do that. And don't date anybody who does that. but I'm just telling you, there's different types of people in the world, and I've worked with hundreds of different people, and people do it differently. So if you're somebody who does that, okay, it's one of those things that is being done in the world, and that people are doing to try to have more success. It's really a brain thing. The number, the age, like if you want it, go for it. If you're not getting it and you've been searching for it for 5 years or 10 years or much longer than that, maybe you should reevaluate what you actually want, because maybe what you want doesn't actually want you. So what I would want to ask is, who wants you? If you could tell me who wants you, even if you don't want them, I don't care if you want them or you don't. I want to know who wants you, the types of people that want you. That's the vibe and energy that you're putting out to draw and attract those people. So if you're getting people you don't like, let's put out a different energy. Let's shift what you're putting out there so that you do attract what you're looking for.
Completely agreed. Yeah. Who is looking for you? That's the number one question of, like, it's great who you're looking, but like, let's see who's looking for you. Okay. And then how can we get you to want the same people that want you?
Right. And wait, and you should also know that, I don't know, a large number, 90% of the people that are looking for you are like, you don't even have to worry about them. Those are like the off the, like the ones that you're like, Aleeza, I have weirdos, I have crazy people, I have, mean people that, okay, fine. We all get those. I'm actually not talking about that 90% of people who want you that are just off or not for you, or like completely not even anything close. I'm talking about the other, like, real potential people. Who are those 10% of people that want you that maybe you don't want? Everybody else that's not really for you, that's not what I'm talking about, just to clarify.
Got it. Great. I learned so much from Aleeza too. Okay. The next one is, when asking the question, what about settling down because you are tired, a from girl with a traditional guy? Thank you in advance. I don't understand that one. What about settling down because you're tired?
With a from girl with a traditional guy, meaning she's more religious and he's less religious, and settling for that, even though it's not exactly what she's looking for? Is that
probably
what you mean?
That person can write me again if that's correct or not. I think that's what they mean. That the guy is like, he's a traditional guy, and should he settle with a from girl even though that's not what he is? I think that's what he means.
Oh, the other way. Should the less religious one settle for more religious?
Right. I'm waiting for the person to give clarity. They didn't. Maybe we'll wait. If that person, they wrote it privately, wants to give me more clarity, we're happy to answer that one. Okay. And in the meantime, 2 other ones came in. What do you think are the good dating apps for serious people and not for a fling or hookup? Okay.
Okay, so I'll tell you mine. You tell me yours. We'll pull our things together. And I'm going to give you like secular world, traditional world, religious world, so you have a lot of different options. I found that Match, in terms of just completely secular world, has the most options, and I heard from my clients that they've had the most success there. Although, things like Plenty of Fish, those 2 maybe in the completely secular world. J Swipe and J Date, middle of the road, Jewish. I've seen more religious people get on there. I've seen, Jewish people get on there, and seems to have like a good solid amount of people. And then if you're looking into the more observant end of things, for sure, J-Wed and Saw You at Sinai are the leaders in the marketplace, and tend to be more packed with singles than other sites. If you're like more niche and specific, like I know there are Chabad sites, and so that would be something that's more niche. Trying to think of what else I left out.
I think you got them all. Yeah, Match.com if you're, more like reformed, traditional, and that one is like the best, like, overall website, and I believe the websites are a little bit better than just an app. And then JDate and JSwipe next, yes, because everyone's there. Although I've heard from a lot of people that a lot of people have a JDate account but don't check it anymore because JDate bought JSwipe, and so most people just use the JSwipe. So they might have an account, but they don't check the messages. Yeah, unfortunately, JSwipe, the last time I checked it, you don't write a lot in a bio. It's more like a Tinder. So like there's not a lot of meat there to go off of. And even I mean, I saw my guys' accounts and they're like, but this girl didn't write anything about herself, so I don't even know what to comment on other than nice smile. And if that's the case, you have to say like nice smile and tell me 2 truths and a lie, like something cute to get them talking more if the profile doesn't
Right.
give you enough like meat to comment on.
Right.
So Match.com usually will give you meat to comment on because you have to write a bio and you have to click some interests. So then exactly what you said, JWed for a little bit more religious crowd. It's also a website, so people take it more seriously. And
Oh,
saw
wait,
you at
and by the
Sinai.
way, they JWed just launched video dating on the app, only on the
Oh,
app,
that's
not on the
amazing.
website. And they did they're coming out with the 2.0 version because they launched it. They got all the feedback, and now they're incorporating everything. And so you're going to be
That's
able to date
amazing.
right from the app right there. Yeah, it's really, really fantastic.
Wow. And I'm going to write all of our suggestions in the chat so people don't forget. Um, Okay, JD, I would recommend the paid account on JSwipe because you can see a little bit more and you could do passport mode, which means you can see people all over the world, I think, even if they didn't put that in their search parameters. So you have a little more options during the Corona
Right.
times, because
Right.
why not? And then in Israel, OkCupid is the big one. And I like that one even
Israel,
here.
OkCupid for Israel?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's new to me. Oh, thank you
Yeah,
for telling
that's
me that.
and I like OkCupid because as your dating coach, I can log into it from a computer. So I can also write on there and, look at people for you, and that you can screen by Jewish. So, and then also Bumble, in the US and in Israel, it's letting you screen by religion. And the women write first on Bumble. So like they don't get inundated with messages from guys that they don't want. And when a woman does write to you, guy, then like she actually really likes you, because men complain all the time. They send like 50 messages and hear 2 back, if that. So yeah, it's harder for men on dating apps because women get inundated with the messages. But so Bumble, when the guy gets the message, he's really excited because he knows that woman went out of her way to write him, because the men can't message first. And Bumble, I can log in as you also. Then a lot of people like Hinge. Yeah, that would kind of be like my order of what I think are best. And
Right.
Hinge is like you have to comment on some comment that they made or some photo. So at least you're commenting on something. It kind of gives you that icebreaker. Bumble, by the way, started giving you options of icebreakers. Like it's funny, when you want to send the first message, ladies, it kind of says, and you just want to write hi. It asks you, are you sure you want to send that? It would be better to write like a full message, and then it suggests other messages and gives you like better icebreakers to start with. And you just click on one of the icebreakers and click send. So it is better than just writing, hi, how's your day going? Like, people don't write, hi, how's your quarantine going? Try to treat it like regular life right now, and not be starting with that, or you
Yes,
can
you know
start
what
with,
I think? I think we need to write an article, because I'm big on writing
yeah,
articles,
yeah.
on icebreaker conversations. I loved what you said about, nice smile, tell me a little about yourself, 2 truths and a lie, and get the conversation going. If we could come up with like a list of those, I think that
Yeah,
would be an
that's a really good
amazing
article.
article. Okay,
Yeah,
we're gonna
there's
work
so
on
many
that for you
things.
all.
Yeah, you gave us a good idea. And also, if you want to write it down, Aleeza, while it's on the top of my
I'm
mind,
gonna write it down right now.
you ask like, what's your favorite childhood memory? You ask like, what's your favorite pizza topping? What's your favorite movie and why? Because you want to be like specific. Like, I had a client I was coaching that was just like, I said, comment on something on her profile. Don't forget, don't just write hi, you have a nice smile. So
Right.
he just wrote, hi, Sarah, like, I like movies and music too. That's not the best, because that was very
Right.
general, which is, I said we were
Right.
trying not to do that. I said, tell her my favorite movie is this, and the reason, okay, I'll do me. My favorite movie is Back to the Future. The reason is I love that it's like a bromance between the Doc and Marty, and at the end of the day, it's about friendship and it's about family. So it has like values that really resonate and transcend time. So that is a really cool thing to say. And then a guy could ask me more about that. And a lot of guys do like
By the
that movie.
way, that's
So
a
yeah.
great hook for an opening line for what you would say on a dating profile. So if you're writing your dating, by the way, I'm big into dating profiles and like framing it out in a certain way, and you need to open with a hook, some random line that it doesn't even have to mean anything. It may or may not tell something about you, but it hooks the reader in. So if you would say exactly that, I would know, not that you like that movie, I would know why you like that movie, because of the friendship, the kinship, the family. Like, it just told me so much in that one sentence, and it's interesting. I'm totally engaged. I'm like, oh, she she likes that movie. Oh, I wonder, hey, awesome. You like that movie. I like that. You know what else I like? Here's what I like, and here's why. And then it gives somebody else an opening, but it drew them into your profile. So that's actually a great opening line.
Great. I'm glad I offered that. And so yeah, that's what Aleeza and I would do also if we're working with you, would help you write these profiles. So if anybody does want to hear more about the profile stuff, just ask for it, because I didn't see it as like a specific question. So I really, really want to serve you and ask all of your relevant questions. Aleeza, when do you have to go? It's 3:20 your time.
4:20.
Oh, 4:20. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a funny time.
I think for maybe another 10 minutes if we,
Yeah.
you know what we can do is like speed questions, meaning like question, answer, and you get like a minute to answer, and that's it. And like we just go through it so we can get through all the questions.
Okay, great. So we answered the dating app question. What about guys that you ask them serious questions and they dodge answering them and say that they will answer later? Interesting. Like questions about medical history and why things did not work out with previous girlfriends. These can reveal red flags early on. Interesting. But you're asking them, I think you're asking them maybe too soon. So you're scaring the guys off if you ask about medical history and previous relationships too. I'll let you answer, Aleeza.
I know. Yeah. I'm like, oh. So medical history will come up. It shouldn't come up until I like you and know that I want to like really get into this with you. I don't owe you anything about my medical history, right? In the beginning, you're nobody to me. You don't have a right to have, it's like going to a doctor, you sign the HIPAA privacy. Like you have no right to my medical information. You and I are going to be in a long-term relationship. I'm going to commit to you and I'm not going to date anybody else. We're heading somewhere. Okay, now we need to discuss some things. So that's really the point that medical history would come up. Even if you know something or you know a hint of something, really, it's kind of like the elephant in the room that you just don't talk about it and you let it be. And as for previous relationships, I have a little bit of a firm stance on that, which is they don't belong anywhere in your current relationship, like zero. Yes, okay, if you're divorced and you had kids and you might have to talk about life, or if you were widowed, and okay, fine, at a certain point later. But if we're just talking about any dating relationships, even long-term boyfriends, girlfriends, not only is it none of my business, what purpose does it serve? Okay, I might have the information. Is it going to make me jealous? Is it going to make me upset? It might give me information, but I don't think it's going to give me information that's going to be beneficial for me long-term. And I'd rather figure those things out from a different method and not from that part of the relationship. Again, if we're talking about, divorced, widowed, or a different unique type of situation, yeah, well, you might have to talk about custody, but you don't have to talk about how your spouse treated you, right? If you're talking about somebody who's widowed, that's a totally different story. Some people feel very connected and they do want to talk about their previous spouse, and that person's no longer alive. They're not here. That is a fond memory that is close to their heart. And that is a very different and delicate situation. So for older singles or even younger singles that deal with that, where you are going to deal with this invisible spouse that is going to be in your relationship constantly, where they're going to constantly be like floating around, that's totally different. And you have to figure out tools to navigate that. And that's like really very personal one-on-one. So I can't give you generic answers, but that's like one of the scenarios where it's like, okay, that's an appropriate time to talk about history, but you have to balance it because the new person doesn't always want to hear about the old person.
Completely agreed. Okay, next, to go back to the one, they gave more clarity. If a frum woman is kind of settling to marry a traditional guy, because they're tired of dating and looking around, like how do you feel about that, like idea of settling with the religion thing not lining up completely?
Yeah, so I've seen it done successfully a lot of times. And what I want to know is, do you like this, like religion aside, when I met my husband, Judaism aside, no matter where we were holding as a human being, I liked him as a human being. I liked who he was as a person. And then, okay, fine, now we pile the Jewish stuff on. So for me, I'd say strip away the layers of Judaism and the differences there. Look who you're looking at. Do you like this guy? Do you connect with him? Is he somebody that makes you feel good? Do you feel like you can offer to him and he can offer to you and you can build this connection and relationship? Yes. Okay, great. We could figure out how to work with the Jewish side. I'm very good at problem solving and what I would call technical failures because of religion, but it's not a relationship failure. That's just like a layer of it. If you don't really like him and you don't really like the Judaism and you really just want to get married, don't marry him. don't marry him. Don't just, you need to find the right person. You know, there are people that eventually do settle and they're like, I'm done and I'm going to make this my partner. But you have to be so solid on the inside where no matter what, you are going to be choosing over and over again every day and every week. We do it with our partners anyway, every month and every year. I'm choosing to be with you, and I'm choosing to love you, and I'm choosing to connect to you, even though this isn't what I thought that I wanted, even though this is different than what I really expected.
Completely agreed. She says everything amazing, so I love her. So I agree. And yes, I encourage in my matchmaking to go sometimes out of your Judaism zone. Like at least you're still both Jewish, and like you'll figure that out if everything else is strong between you. You're attracted mentally, emotionally, and physically, because it is so hard to, I always say to my clients, like, you want this, and this on your list, and you have to have this level of Judaism. You threw that into the pot too. It's like, it's hard. And when I talk to matchmakers I collaborate with who are not Jewish, they go, oh, I have this Jewish client, can you help me find a match? And then I go, what's their religious level? And they go, what are you talking about? Isn't just a Jew a Jew? And I say no. And then they realize like they bit off more they can chew, because they have someone keeping kosher and Shabbat, and they didn't know that they had to fulfill that for their client. So I say, non-Jewish matchmakers, send them to us, you know, because it's very nuanced. Okay. To get to the rest of the questions that were written here. Okay, we answered that. I think we were on this question. Right now, I've only been able to phone date. I am finding that the women I meet in their 40s seem to be just going through the motions, but not really trying to further along the dating process. They talk about their work or what is going on in their life, but never seem to move to deeper conversation. What can you recommend for the guy to get the girl to start taking the process more seriously? One thing I just want to say about that is, if you go through a matchmaker, then the women will be taking it more seriously, because they've been pre-screened by me, and I tell them what are my rules or guidelines for dating, and they're so open to listening to me and Aleeza, because they want the chance to be with you, you know, because when a matchmaker writes to a woman and is recruiting and says, have I got a guy for you? Their ears perk up. They're on high alert. It's like they take it so much more seriously, because they know that you are serious and have invested in the process. So even if they're not feeling the connection, my job is to kind of like follow up with them and kind of say, what's going on? Where's your head at and your heart at? You know, my client likes you and you're not being very responsive, and to try to get you an answer and get some closure. So that's what you get when you get a matchmaker and a dating coach assisting you, is someone screening the people, getting feedback, getting closure along the way. When you're doing this on your own, so I'll have Aleeza ask that, like when you know he's trying to talk to these women and they're not right. Going deeper.
Right. If they're not going deeper, my question would be, are they just not the type of people to go deeper? Do they not know how to go deeper? There are some people who it takes them so much longer to go deeper, so it takes them twice as long or 3 times or 4 times as long as it would take you. It sounds like he's an emotionally open, available guy who's able to connect with people and to build that rapport, and he's not getting that matched. So if you're not finding, I mean, it could just be it's a poor match, and so move on. It could be the types of questions that you're asking. So I know Jess put on those the list of
the 36 questions.
Questions. And anybody who signed up for the webinar originally through the link that didn't work, we have your email, and we can send you all of this good information so that you guys have it. So and for anybody else, you could email Jess fasspasstolove@gmail.com.
I'll put my email here. Yeah. I'll put both of our emails, but to keep in touch. But yeah, there is tons of information out there of like deeper questions that you can ask, because you might just not be asking the right questions. It's okay for coming back.
Okay.
You might just
sorry, I got a call interrupted. First time I got a call.
You might not be asking the right questions to get them to go deeper, because like how much can you talk about, like, what'd you do today? I cooked, I cleaned, I stayed in my quarantine. So you need these kind of like questions in your back pocket, like what's your favorite childhood memory? What's your relationship like with your parents if they're still living? What about with your grown children? What's your favorite thing to do with your daughter? You know, I'm thinking about women in their 40s here. So, you know, you need to ask the right questions to draw the right responses. And, he did say it was set up by a shadchan. So it's probably someone doing it as a mitzvah, like nonprofit. So unless you ask the shadchan to go between you, You can't kind of force them to if they're just doing it as a mitzvah. If they
You
can
can, no, but
assist
you
you
can
though.
ask the matchmaker. Yeah, you can ask the matchmaker to help you. Like, hey, I asked her a whole bunch of things and we were trying to get a little deeper, but I found that she wasn't. Is that her personality, or do I need to draw that out more? You could try to get clarity. But I think I don't like focusing on what we can't control, meaning we can't control a matchmaker, we can't control the girl, we can't control anything outside of you. But if we can improve your skills and get you to ask questions that might draw somebody out, or be open, share a story, share something, and then because you shared, have them mirror back and share with you. That's more in your control. So I would rather focus on those types of things. That would be my advice.
Completely agreed. I just shared the article again from the New York Times, the 36 questions that lead to love. Just bear in mind, sometimes they are a little bit deep, that you might want to save some of them for like later dates. Some are a little bit,
only the first couple. Yeah, only the first couple are good in the very beginning.
And then I have another article that I'll look up maybe when Aleeza's answering another question, another couple of articles that are like lighter questions.
I'm also going to put together, I have a list of questions that I'm putting together to send out to people, but like dozens and dozens and dozens of questions, like hundreds of questions.
Amazing.
With all different topics and categories and everything. And I'm compiling it right now. So I don't know, please God, I'll see if I can get it done before Passover and get that out to people. I'll get it to you, to your list, and we'll get it out there.
Okay, great. And then I think it's the last one on the chat right now of questions. If anybody has like a final question, we did have some questions that people wrote in advance, Aleeza, that some of them we answered, a couple of them we didn't. Do you have time to get to those, or do you need to hop off?
So let's just lump them all together and see how we can answer them as a whole.
So one person, I'm honoring the people that are live right now on this call. So we have another one that came in live. How can you disclose a disability during dating? Would it be better to disclose it before you meet the person? Is there a way to get people to be more open to dating people with disabilities if the person is really good?
Great question.
Yeah.
So in terms of disabilities, some people disclose it beforehand. If it is, I was gonna say, if it's something physical that's visible, that's just obvious, some people disclose it before, but I don't think you have to. Does it make a difference? Like I almost would want somebody to just see who you are. I want them to see your soul before they have to see your body, and I want them to like your soul and then see what they like about the body, because we're all built differently. I saw a really amazing couple. She is, normal, so to speak, looks like the average person, and he has some physical condition where, besides being in a wheelchair, everything is very stunted and small. And she said, people always ask us like, oh, are you like his aide? Are you his helper? And she's like, I'm his girlfriend. Like that.
Wow.
This is my partner in life. And I have to find the link. They have videos online now and they talk about their relationship. And so I love that, because she sees him. She really, really sees him inside and out. And so it has to be what you're comfortable with. I feel like, though, if you're not looking to hide anything, and by not saying it, it'll just come up naturally. I know there's a couple, and he has a limp. I don't know whether it was, from life or from birth, or I'm not sure what the situation is, but he has a limp. He's always had a limp, and she went out with him, and she thought, oh, okay. And she's like, but I really like him. Like, if he didn't have the limp, would I really like him? Would I really go for him? She's like, yeah, I would. She goes, so why would I not now? I really like him. I really like him. They got married. They have a family, and, it works. So I think you have to do what you're comfortable with, but I don't think that you have to announce it. And if it's something physical, then when they meet you in person, they're going to see it. And if it's something that's, more internal, or that you have to disclose later on. So at the right point in the relationship, when it's appropriate to share, then you share it if there's something that's really there. But it doesn't always have to come at the beginning, because if I didn't buy into you that you're for me, then I don't need to share my personal information with you. It's not yours to know.
I love everything you said.
That was not a 1-minute answer. I just realized I'm not holding by my own rules.
I know, because Aleeza's so giving and so wonderful. We're so alike. Like, she just wants to say everything about the topic. It's hard to to truncate it.
Right.
So
Right. True.
I agree with that answer. So I won't add more. So we can go to another next question. Um, just to try to lump these together, because one was about dating app fatigue. I think we already addressed that you should
Yep.
embrace this time to keep using them, or go on other groups and of Zoom meetings and try to meet new friends, or Facebook groups. You guys, just, there are so many. Just look up Jewish Facebook groups. I'll send you one in the chat right now to join for dating. Um, how do you meet when you're dating online? Well, someone just asked in general, what are the secrets to dating online successfully? And then how do you, and then someone else asked, how do you trust people you meet online? So I think you can kind of lump them
Yeah.
together. I think we kind of said it about having the hook in your profile that draws them in. So having a
Yeah.
really good, smart profile, having the best photos. You want full body, and you want a couple headshots, and you want, if you wear glasses, you want some with, some without. You want women, if you wear red, that like really draws men in. You really want solid colors, women in dresses. And if you're not a dress person, then jeans with a nice top, and men with like nice button up shirts and what's the word, blazer and slacks. And you can have like nice clean jeans too. And outside is really key. I have my clients go to professional photographers. People are still doing it these days. They're just standing apart from the photographer, or just a friend who holds the camera, disinfect the phone
Yeah.
after. But it is
Yeah.
better to have outdoors than selfies. If you do have like a tripod thingy that you can set it up yourself and take some new photos at home, and you're a good photographer, then great. Not all of us are. But you want the cleanest, crispest photos. And don't argue with me. My clients argue. They go, isn't the photo going to look too staged? And I'm like, no, it's going to look beautiful. And you're like, when they're swiping, you pop out, like you look like a movie star, compared, like they're seeing a bunch of bathroom selfies and then this clear, crisp photo, like standing up straight and tall and looking happy outside by the beach or in a
Right.
park. So it really stands out. And the other key to
oh yeah, go ahead. Go. We got more.
The other key was just sending more messages. Like, don't think of it as like, oh, I don't like this person, so swipe. Don't think of it as swipe more on no and yes on less. Opposite. You want to swipe yes more often, because what's the big deal? You match with someone and then you read the profile later and you don't like it. It's better to just say yes and have a bunch of things in your queue, just like sending out resumes for a job. You want to send more, like tons of resumes, not just 3, and be like, well, those are the only 3 I want, so I hope I get one of those jobs. No, you need to send like 100, and then you get like a little bit of response, and look for who's looking for you. And if a person wrote you back, that shows a lot of interest, and like take it from there. Like if the girls that started to, I'm saying from a man's perspective, if the women started to write you back that you're not as into, but they're writing you back, like, and you did the second glance at the profile more deeply, and you're like, maybe not for me, but they wrote to you, so they're into you. So why not give a chance to the ones that are actually into you and wrote back to your message, instead of sending 3 messages to one woman who never wrote back to the first one, and every 2 days you're just like, hi, are you there, remember me, and she never wrote back. She's not coming there.
Right.
So focus on the people that are writing to you, and set up quickly a video chat date, so that you can even do it the same day, because we're all at home now. So why is it really going to take you 2 days to get your video chat date going? If it was real life, it might take you like 3-4 days to schedule the date. But you kind of have no excuse to just go straight from the app to say, if you don't want video right away, you can do phone, and then after like 15 minutes, if you feel comfortable, change it to video. And the second part of the question, how do you like feel comfortable, because you don't know them? If you're in the States, you can go to a background check website. If you really want to run someone's name through, there's one called Been Verified that I use. So if there is any criminal activity, it'll come up. It's not going to show up if they use recreational drugs or that kind of thing. You have to do your own screening. But if there's anything like really taboo in the background, it will come up. And you can just use Google as your friend to see if anything comes up that's shady about someone. And if you're in Israel, you might have mutual friends, as the person. You just kind of, you have to just kind of have some trust and faith when you're online dating. And because of these times, you can video chat date, so you are going to see them pretty quickly. You know what I mean? If they seem creepy, man or woman, you can block them quickly after. It's so easy to block someone from your contacts. So don't be afraid that online dating isn't safe. Feel free to use it for the person that was afraid about the safety. And Aleeza?
I'm just you gave a huge, amazing list. I'm just gonna add one more thing. The way that you dress and look in a photo, please make sure that's the way that you will look on screen or in person, because there's nothing worse than, you know, for ladies, you have curly hair, you straighten it, but then you show up to a date with curly, or vice versa, or your hair is dark and then you bleach it blonde and now it's light, and you just don't look the same. So make sure the photo of you that's going on any profile should look like the real you that they're going to actually meet in person on a date. And you might want to even dress the same way you might dress for a date, because that's the most realistic version of you that they're going to meet, and that's the best version of you. Like, don't put on the fanciest thing that you own and look like you're going to a wedding. Look like you're going on a date. That's going to be the best thing.
Completely agreed. Again, and just remember though to dress up a little bit for your video chat dates. You know, the ladies, you do want to do your hair and makeup and be wearing a nice top. You could be in your sweats, but you know, don't do a first video date like completely. I've gotten this feedback a lot from my clients that dated long distance for forever. They answer it like at night when they're like trying to cook dinner, or they're like playing with their cat, and they treat it super casually, just put it on their cell phone and like, oh, see my cat, and like hair up and no makeup, and it's fine to be casual, but that's not what they signed up for. Like they want to feel like you're sitting there giving them your full attention, like Aleeza and I are doing right now. So be like with good lighting, preferably on the laptop, so you don't have to hold a phone or a tablet. If you don't have it, then fine. And just try to put the phone in one place and not be moving it all over the place. Have good audio, good lighting as much as you can. And if it really stinks, your audio visual, just say, I'll call you on the phone because right now I'm not getting good reception. Because nothing is more frustrating where you just said something super important to the person and bared your soul, and you had frozen on their end and you got stuck like this, you know, when you were spilling, and the guy's like, sorry, can you say that again? Because you totally froze. So you could
Right.
switch to phone if needed. And I really got a lot of complaints about from both sides, but specifically like a lady that was like laying down like on her couch and the camera was like right here, you know, when she was chatting. And he actually thought, oh, she must be really comfortable with me because she can chat with me when she's just like lounging around like super casual. But actually that's just the way she would talk to anyone. And so he actually thought it was an invitation to be a little bit more frisky and intimate, you know, because he could like see down her shirt a little bit. So it sent the wrong message that she was open to talking about that. So then, you know, she got upset that he went there. But it's like, then why do you answer the phone, you know, looking like that? So just be presentable once you've had like 4 video chat dates maybe, and you're feeling really comfortable, you and the person need to discuss like, okay, so like now can we kind of just be in sweats and pajamas? Like I would discuss that you're both going to look like that for that date. Like my current boyfriend would say to me when we were going on dates, like, are we dressing up for this? Like he would ask me because he didn't want to come looking schlubby and I got dressed up. So he would say like, how are we dressing for this? And if I'm like, oh yeah, I'll wear jeans today, you know, like do that with each other now so that you're like on the same page, so that you're both impressing each other, like, you know, equal amount, or you're both lazy that day, equal amount.
Right.
So that is my tip.
I need to go.
Yeah. Okay. So let's tell them, you guys, almost everyone stayed on the whole time. I think we started with 22 or 23 and we have 18. So that's amazing. And I hope you guys got great value. I'm going to try to send all of these same links in the follow-up email. Yeah, you're very welcome, Mike, and everyone. So Aleeza and I are partnering to present to you Matchmaker and Dating Coach together right now. So we'll send that offer. It's special for the Corona times when we can only virtually date. So it's not something that we might not be offering it when Corona ends, because it's really going to be, I will be logging on with you for 45 minutes, going over your online dating account, whichever one that is, Match, JWed, Bumble. And we will go over that and message people together. And then you will also get an account for 6 months gold membership on my partner site, Saw You at Sinai, where Mitzvah Matchmakers, they're a nonprofit, so Mitzvah Matchmakers will match you. And in this time, if I have a match from my personal database that matches you, I will match you and give you like that full service of, I screen the match, I present the match, and I get the feedback like within a day after the video call. So within that 5-week period, I will do that. And Aleeza is also going to give you 45-minute personal session throughout those 5 weeks where you're talking about everything that's going on with your current dating life, right? Like holistically.
Yes. And pulling all the pieces of the puzzle together. And we'll also clarify a lot of things so that as you're searching for them online, we make sure that we funnel you the best information and also work to craft the profile like alongside of you so that it's it really pops. The other thing that we're offering in conjunction with this, and it comes with it, is Daters Academy, which is an online program. There are 5 different courses that you can go through. It talks about the perfect profile and your soulmate summary, an online overhaul, mystery in your history, which is one of my favorites, and the +1 perspective. And there's videos and there's worksheets, and everything preps you for this whole process. And Jess and I are doing this like tag team, 2 of us together, to see how, to see what matches we can make and how quickly and easily we can get people into the swing of this style dating, and just to get you started. Sometimes you need something long-term and it's like, woof, we got to really make an investment here. This is like a short-term 5-week, let's get something moving, make an investment in getting the momentum going. And once the momentum's going, a thing in motion stays in motion. So we expect that what we put in place for you is going to get the ball rolling for you in an easier way with all of our support.
Yep, you said it great. So we will send out that offer by tomorrow, before Shabbat, so that you guys can look it over, and email us back if you have any questions. It'll either come from mine or Aleeza's email address, so we'll figure that out. But we both will have access to we'll put both of our emails in the chat, just if you wanted to say hello.
Perfect.
I think I already put mine, and I'll put Aleeza's. And yeah, so we're here for you. Like, maybe we'll do more of these. I'll probably be doing them with other matchmakers too, just to get perspective of people that work with non-Jewish clients, and bringing you lots of different perspectives during this time. We really appreciate you guys hung in there. And we hope this was helpful. I'm willing to stay on and turn the record off if Aleeza has to go. If people wanted to just come on camera and wave hello to me, I'm willing to see all the faces that we've been talking to.
Yes, also put my email on there, Aleeza, Aleeza, at marriagemindedmentor.com.
Marriage Minded Mentor, yeah, and that's her website.
You can find the website marriagemindedmentor.com. If you go on Facebook, you can follow me, and if you go on Instagram, also at marriagemindedmentor.com. I would love to see you guys online, chat. You can ask
perfect
questions,
name.
And I'm doing a lot of lives and webinars also. So as long as you're in touch with my social media, it'll pop up when we're doing things. There's a lot of stuff happening right now.
Yeah, email Aleeza to make sure that you know about all of her upcoming webinars. And my website, fastpasstolove.com. Everyone just go on there and make a free profile at least. So even if you're not ready to do an investment, I have you in there. So if you do match a client of mine, that I could give you a complimentary match. So you go to my website, click get started, fill out the profile, take your time to do it. Do not rush through it. It's like, this is the representation of you to a matchmaker. So, and if you need help, then you can do a one-on-one session with me to write it for you. If people tell me, oh, I can't write about myself, well, then we're here for that. Okay, so Aleeza, do you want to hop off?
Yeah, I'm going to hop off. Also, if you go to marriagemindedmentor.com, you'll see we have Single at the Seder, a webinar coming up this Sunday. If anybody is interested, it's 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Not great for Israelis. I'm so sorry about the timing. But if you sign up and you can't make it, you'll get a replay in your email. So
is Single at the Seder another webinar like this? Or is it about
another
Passover?
Webinar like this? Yeah. Well, so we're going to talk about Passover, but also then we're going to open it up to generic dating Q&A. So if you guys have more questions and you want more clarity, we're going to do that as well.
Oh, that's great. Who's hosting that one with you, Aleeza? Is it another coach or matchmaker?
Sarah Kupfer from Fit Jewish.
Oh, right. Okay.
She works with me, and she is going to be on moderating and throwing questions out there and pulling it together.
Okay, great. So you have another chance to see Aleeza really soon. What day was that, you said? I'll type it in the chat.
Sunday at 7:30.
This Sunday. Okay.
Yep.
And it's going to be a webinar like this?
Yeah, so hopefully I'll have no technology issues because she'll be dealing with it instead of me. And
yeah, and then you can teach me again for next time. She's going to put it on Facebook Live too?
In theory.
Okay. All right, good.
I don't know. We're going to see how it works out. We're going to see how it works out in reality. Thank you for being able to handle the technology here. All right. Thanks so much. I'm popping off.
Thanks, everyone. Okay. I have a recording. If it ended up working, I will email it out if people want it. Okay. Bye, Aleeza. Thanks for your time.